Hi, everyone who's listening in. We're just going to leave a couple more minutes for people to join before we kick off. Alan, I can see your question up there. There will be a recording of the live stream in case anything goes wrong or you miss it today. For anyone who just joined, we're just going to give a couple more minutes for everyone to log in and get things up and running, and then we'll kick it off in a couple minutes. Just one more minute we'll give, and then we'll start shortly. Thanks, everyone. All right, great. So we'll start for those of you who are on the live stream. Hi, everyone. I'm Taylor. Thanks for joining our webinar today. I lead our mid-market team here in the US for Waze. So excited to chat with you all today, share some insights about Waze and really how you can utilize it best for your clients. You'll see on the live stream there's a place for questions. So please feel free to enter your questions as the live stream goes. We'll be answering them all at the end. Great, just loading up some slides. So thanks again, everyone, for joining our webinar today on Waze Summer Insights. A couple of topics that we'll cover today. The first is we're going to cover the latest Waze innovations. So really just give an intro, high level to Waze and what we've been up to as a company and as a brand. Then we're going to dive in to the meat and especially what you've all registered to hear today, our summer driving insights. So we've looked at historical data from summer driving trends from all of our drivers across the country and pulled insights that are hopefully relevant to your clients that you work within that they might be able to utilize for the summer. And then finally, we will cover our solutions for agencies and leave time for questions and answers. Let me just share my screen. There we go. Perfect. So this might not take the full hour. So hopefully we can give you a little bit of your day back at the end, but we'll definitely leave a lot of time at the end of the presentation for questions and answers. Great. So let's kick it off first and talk about Waze and really what we've been up to and an intro to the brand overall. So Waze, hopefully most of you are familiar with it by now who have joined the webinar. We're the world's largest navigation app. So we have a full community of drivers who are contributing and talking to each other on the app every single day. Waze is owned by Google, which not everyone may have known. We were acquired by Google in 2013. And our mission as a brand and as a company is to outsmart traffic together, and ideally save everyone a little bit of time on their commute every day. We're growing daily. We're at about over 80 million active users globally right now, and over 22 million of those are here in the US. And this next slide just gives a snapshot for you of what our top metros are. So where most of our drivers are and where we see a lot of activity and a lot of opportunity for brands to reach drivers. Something unique about Waze that I thought was interesting, especially when I joined the team, is that it's not just people downloading the app to use for a road trip here and there. Most of our drivers are actually commuters. They're spending a lot of time in the app, actually over 600 minutes per month, which is about 20 minutes every single day. So on par with a lot of the apps that we all know and use a lot. And we're building daily connections with these users, which means that brands have a lot of opportunity to speak to drivers on a daily basis. And this next slide just gives a good snapshot of growth trends across a number of the quickest growing apps in the US right now. You'll see here that the ones that are growing quickest, like Waze, Uber, Lyft, Tinder, are types of apps that improve your life and are really utilitarian and improving real world behaviors. And you'll see where Waze falls in line with those. So what have we been up to at Waze and what's new? I'm not going to get into these in a lot of detail, but I just wanted to give you a high-level snapshot. Waze Local is something that I'll get into more at the end of the presentation when we talk about solutions. But highlighting the other ones quickly, the first is our recent integration with Spotify, which is one that I love and that I use all the time myself. What we've done is integrated with Spotify so that when you're driving with Waze, you can easily change your music or your song or your playlist within the app and vice versa. So you don't have to be switching around and changing through screens. So we're really excited about that integration and it's seen a ton of success so far. Some of you, especially people based here on the East Coast, I'm based here in New York, may have seen this Dunkin' Donuts order ahead feature, which was launched this year. This gives drivers the opportunity to order their coffee from their car within Waze when they're navigating to Dunkin'. So by the time that they get to Dunkin', their order is ready and waiting for them. So a super exciting innovation that we've launched this year and that we hope to see a lot more from in the coming months. The next is our Connected Citizens program. And this is something really special and really outside of the day-to-day app and something that I think is amazing because we have so much data from our drivers who are using our app every single day. Rather than just taking all that data and sitting on it, we're able to use it for a greater purpose and actually work with over 380 different partners and cities around the world to use the data to help improve their infrastructure. So improve things like road planning, traffic lights, garbage pickups, even emergency response centers, so they can use our data to get to people faster and to plan their cities better. So this is an amazing program that we're continuing to grow every day. And finally, you may have heard some buzz about Waze Carpool. Just last week, we launched this across California, and it's been piloting in San Francisco and Tel Aviv for a little while now. Waze Carpool is an app that allows drivers and riders to connect to each other, people who are going the same route or the same destination, so they can drive together and get on the most optimal route. So again, just going back to that idea of helping to eliminate traffic and solve that traffic problem. And we're really excited about Waze Carpool. You're probably going to be hearing a lot more about it in the coming weeks and months, and something that's going to be a big focus. So that's just a little bit about what we've been up to here at Waze. And next, I want to talk about our summer insights. So we've looked at a lot of data of how our drivers are navigating in the coming summer months. And what we've found is that drivers are driving a lot more in the summer. People are going outside of their normal routine. They're going on road trips. The days are longer. People are spending more time in the car. And it's definitely the busiest season for driving and the busiest season for Wazers. They're driving at different times and to different places than they typically would. So this brings incremental opportunities for brands to speak to these drivers that they don't have during the rest of the year. So 7% more miles driven during the summer months than during the rest of the year. What we see as well is people aren't driving just more or longer. They're driving especially on weekends. So they're breaking out of their normal commuter routine and they're getting out there. You can see a spike here, especially around the 4th of July. Lots of road trippers. And the miles per drive increase by 12% in July than when compared to the rest of the year. So again, just thinking of this in the way that there are more opportunities on the road and for drivers on the go to connect with brands. We did a survey in March of this year, and one of the questions was asking Wazers, do they want to hear from brands? Do they want to see promotions? And over 50% of them said yes. They do want to hear about promotions on the map. They do want to see coupons, and they do want to see offers. So clients can know and brands know that this audience is receptive to the messages that they're giving, and they're excited to hear about what brands have to say. We also asked our Wazers how many plan to go on a road trip this summer. And you can see here, over 80% said that they will. Most are going to drive, and a lot of them will be driving with others. So what are some of the moments and the occasions that are top of mind, other than just road tripping and traveling for drivers this summer? This gives a snapshot that shows what's happening. So you can see here barbecues, backyard gatherings, vacations. So for agencies who are on the call, think about clients that fall into each of these categories, whether it's hotels or travel brands, or grocery stores or CPG, where Wazers will be utilizing their products or their experiences in these occasions and how they can be a fit. And we dug a little bit even deeper into what these summer plans are, and we found out that 80% of Wazers plan on hosting a barbecue this summer. 68% of Wazers plan on spending time to improve their house, and 61% of time plan on spending time to improve their garden. So this is really a time where people are going to kick back, enjoy time with friends and family, and really get down to those tasks that they've maybe put off for the rest of the year. So again, thinking about which clients you work with that really fall into these categories, or work with the supplies that are going to be at all these events, and how you can talk to drivers when they're paying more attention in these moments that matter. So we wanted to look at 4 micro moments or consumer moments that people are going to be thinking about this summer, and talk about specific insights within each of them. So this is what I'm going to go through now, 4 moments that matter. The where can we eat, the where should we stay, the last minute grocery run, and the finally tackling that project moment. And what this means for Wazers when they're in the car and they have these moments top of mind. The where can we eat moment. So we found that for casual dining restaurants, we see a 6% increase in navigations to these types of restaurants in the summer, meaning there's that many more opportunities for these types of brands and these clients of yours to speak to drivers. Drivers are going to be out there on the go looking for that moment of where they can go and where they can eat because they're eating out more often. So how can you catch their attention and how can you speak to them in these incremental moments and these incremental opportunities? For QSR restaurants, what we saw is that there's a huge spike of navigations, especially on the weekend. And we actually saw that Wazers are going to QSRs 7% more in the summer than for the 4 months prior to the summer in the year, meaning that they're probably on road trips, they're traveling around and navigating around a lot more. So make sure that your brand is there and that your clients' brands are there when these Wazers are on the road and when they're hungry. So especially on these longer road trips, when they might be less familiar with what's around them, might be less familiar with the area, make sure that your client's brand is discoverable and seen, and that people can find it in that moment of hunger and when they're making that decision. With restaurants, we also saw a huge spike on Sunday navigations in the summer. So people are eating out more on Sundays, actually 8% more than during the rest of the year. So thinking about how you can share your message or target your message specifically on these days of the week when people are navigating more and getting really smart with this day part targeting, knowing how our driver behavior is acting, and knowing that they're more likely to see your message on a weekend day or especially on a Sunday. And finally, what we saw is that drivers are navigating to restaurants a lot more later in the evening during the summer than during the rest of the year, which makes sense. The days are longer, the sun's out longer. So again, just being smart with that day part targeting or late night promos that you might have during the summer, knowing that people are going to be out there driving and looking for something for them to navigate to. Next, we dove into those traveling this summer. So that moment of where should we stay? Obviously, a lot of people are using their summer and for their vacation time and traveling around with families. And we found that hotel navigations are actually up by 27% in the summer, which is huge. So there's this ton of opportunity to speak to drivers then, especially if they're on road trips. We all can think about those moments where we're navigating on that long road trip. It's the end of the night, we're tired, and we just want something that's easy and that's there. So making sure your brand is visible, especially when there's a lot of options around, making sure that your brand is the one that's seen when drivers are on the app. Especially in moments like these where people are often emotional when they're driving, they're tired, and they just want to know where they can stay and where they can go. So speaking to drivers in those moments. Next, we have that last minute grocery run moment. So for these barbecues that are taking place, perhaps we're going to cabins in the summer, we're hosting events on the weekends, we're celebrating the 4th of July. There's a lot of moments for kind of last minute food runs during the summer months as well. We saw that navigations to grocery stores and supermarkets and convenience stores increased by 11% on the Sunday before the 4th of July, which means that drivers aren't necessarily planning these things out. They're in the market for these last minute items, these snacks, these barbecue items. So make sure that you're there and that you're speaking to them. People aren't planning these things out. They want to see what's easy. They want the decision to be made quickly, and they're going to do what speaks to them. So being found in those moments and visible as well. And then finally, we have the finally tackling that moment project. So a lot of us are waiting till the summer to do things around the house. I know myself, this is very true for me. And so play into drivers' emotions of needing to get things done during the summer. We saw that home improvement visits are up, especially in the summer months, actually 16% than the rest of the year. So home and garden projects are top of mind. Finally, we all know that we live in a mobile-first world now. This isn't something new to anyone, or something that we need to spend much time talking about. But one thing, trend that's interesting when thinking about consumers on mobile and consumers on apps, is that the most common activities on apps, 80% of those are navigations. And because everyone is on mobile now, and the world is mobile first, it's important as agencies to make sure your clients are thinking about those micro moments when they're navigating or when they're in these apps, and making sure that clients are there, and they're useful, and they're delivering relevant information, and being quick in these moments. So we all live life on the go. I think I mentioned earlier today that I'm based here in New York. We're always making decisions on the fly. We're changing our decisions based on what's around us, and we're making decisions quickly. So people are making those decisions in the moment of need based on what they find on their phone. These micro moments matter, and they really drive business. So on Waze, what that means is we advise agencies to advise their clients to physically mark their locations on the map, so that in those moments of needs, the brand is there. They can be found and seen at that key decision-making moment. And as I go through all of these slides, please feel free to leave your questions in the live stream, and I'll make sure I get to them all at the end. Thanks for everyone who's participating in that so far. A next Waze tip, just based on all of these insights in this mobile-first world, is being useful. So making sure that your message is tailored to clients at these micro moments, because we can really be persuaded if the message that we're seeing is considered relevant. What that means on Waze is, the awesome part of advertising on Waze and being a GPS app is that if you're using location-based marketing to reach your customers, you know that they're nearby, and you can use that to send relevant messages. So sending local offers, up-to-date pricing, really customizing the offer to that client, and just providing something useful to them that they wouldn't necessarily get otherwise or elsewhere. And finally, being quick. So we often suggest that you think about messages on the go and on mobile the way that you would out of home, which is simple, digestible messaging, similar to a billboard or similar to a store sign. Just making sure that it's easily communicated and clearly communicated, and messages are relevant for people on the go. So how can we take all of the insights that I spoke about already, our summer insights and our mobile insights, and make them work on Waze? I'm going to talk a little bit about that now, and how our solutions work for agencies, and then leave some time for Q&A at the end. So some might be more familiar than others, some might be brand new to Waze, but ads on Waze have been around for a while. Recently though, just at the end of last year, we've expanded our offering to provide more solutions for smaller and medium-sized businesses with more local or regional reach. So our mid-market offering called Waze Local. And this is really for your clients who are looking to locally advertise and spread awareness of their brand and of their location to people in the area, and just take advantage of drivers who are close by to their businesses and talk to them in a meaningful and in a relevant way. So we talk about our ads a lot on Waze as being this bridge between traditional out-of-home and mobile. So they're digital ads in that they're on the mobile screen, they're native ads, they're in-app, but they really look and feel like a billboard or like a traditional out-of-home. And so our ads kind of tie them together in a digital out-of-home way and really reach drivers in that last and final moment when they may have seen your ads on a bunch of other platforms, and just getting them in that final moment before they make their decision and being that last point that they see. When we talk about our ads and what they can do for your clients, and the solutions and the goals that they achieve, we can really bucket them into two things. The first is about building awareness. So using Waze Ads to help build awareness of your client's brand, and any offer or specific LTO that they're running, all again based on the context of that drive. So when they're close to your client's store or location where their products are sold, offering them a relevant message and making them aware that the location is close by to them. Ultimately, we want to use all that additional awareness to drive traffic into the store. What's cool about Waze is this can all be measured as well. So unlike a traditional billboard, we can measure things like how many people are actually seeing the ad, how many people are engaging with it, and then how many people are actually navigating to the physical location. I'm going to talk a little bit now about our 3 different ad formats. The first is called a branded pin. The branded pin is essentially your client's logo on the map where the location actually exists. So a promoted pin, thinking about this almost as a store sign. So great for increasing awareness of this location so that as someone is driving along and they're coming up to an exit, or even they're on their daily commute, and this store is a couple streets over than what they might know is around them, they can become aware that this location is close by to them. Most clients will use the branded pin as an always-on approach, making sure that their brand and their location is always visible, the same way that they would always have their sign up outside their store. Next is called a zero-speed takeover. So the zero-speed takeover is sort of the more premium ad unit. You can see here it's richer creative that allows you to reach drivers when their attention is highest. So the zero-speed takeover takes over the top of a driver's screen as a billboard when they come to a complete stop. So if they're in traffic or at a red light or at a stop sign, this will take over their screen, and you can see here that there's more sort of real estate on the mobile screen to share a brand message, or potentially a promotion, an offer, an LTO, whatever that message is that you want to get across to the driver. And there's a very clear call to action on this ad, which is drive there. Just encouraging drivers to navigate to that location. Both of these ad units can be clicked on, and you can see the little I info button below to expand for more information, which will open up a screen that includes things like hours of operation, a phone number, a URL, almost acting as a location listing so that drivers can get the full information that they need to know about the location. Finally, we have promoted search. What promoted search means on Waze is that your client's brand is eligible to show in search when someone is searching by their brand name or by the category. Creating that full kind of branded experience, especially if they're seeing your ads top of mind all week or all month, but maybe not navigating in that moment. They can be served that branded result and be sure that they can see that ad later in the week. I just want to address one question that quickly came up on the live stream right now about the zero-speed takeover. I just want to make clear that it's only showing when a driver comes to a complete stop, and it will disappear from the screen when the driver starts going again. So driver safety is top of mind for Waze, something that we're always thinking about and optimizing, and encouraging drivers to see but not engage with when they're on the go. Thank you for that question. It's important to consider. So now I just wanted to quickly show a couple of examples going back to the 4 moments and the 4 categories that we spoke about earlier, just to give you an example of real life ways that this could look on the map. So we talked a lot about dining, quick service and casual dining. Here you can see some screenshots of what our pins, our zero speed takeovers, and our searches look like in real life. So just speaking to these drivers, especially when they're hungry, when they're on the road in the summer. Next are some examples of travel brands and different hotels and what that can look like for Wazers when they're driving along and they need a rest while they're on the road. Next are some screenshots and some examples of the grocery and the convenience store category. And I've just pulled screenshots and examples of the 4 kind of moments that we talked about earlier. But we have live examples that we can share, obviously, across all verticals and all industries. So please feel free to leave that in the question section or afterwards in the follow-up survey if you want to see different examples from different verticals, and we'll be sure to share those and also provide case studies for specific examples that you'd like to see. And then finally, highlighting here some home improvement examples. Awesome. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about how we can make this happen and how we can go live if there's a client or clients that you have in mind that would love to get on the Waze map this summer. So we have 3 different ad solutions that really cover a range of needs and can meet everyone's needs depending on the scale and the reach of the campaign that they're hoping to have. So what we've talked about a lot today here is our mid-market campaign. This is essentially gives you access to all of our ad formats, pins, takeovers, branded search, and working with a team internally to help launch your campaign. We also have a premium tier, which you'll see in the right column, Waze for Brands. Generally, that's kind of our national campaigns and national brands running large promos across the country. And then we also have a self-service tier, which you'll see in the left column, Waze Local. So this is generally mom and pop shops, brands with 1 or 2 locations who want to get on the map. And again, this just gives a snapshot with what each of the categories or each of the tiers includes, but definitely happy to go into any of these with more details. And we'll be happy to set up individual calls with anyone who's interested in learning more after the webinar today. And so what does this mean if you're an agency managing multiple clients who want to be on the Waze map? First, I just wanted to highlight that agencies can manage multiple client campaigns from one login. So we have sort of an MCC view that you'll be able to toggle through and view your different campaigns. All of our clients, agencies, get access to a dashboard. So you can view your campaigns, manage your campaigns, monitor your campaigns, and view your reporting in real time. And you'll get access to this dashboard. Second, our team is here to assist in creating complex campaigns, bulk uploading for clients who have tens, 20s, hundreds of locations, and just really helping make sure that you understand how the campaign works and how we can best optimize it and really make the campaign succeed for your client. Finally, if an agency is coming on board and managing multiple campaigns, you have access to lower monthly minimums than you would have if the client was just coming on itself. So at the mid-market tier, our monthly minimum is $3K per month. But if you're an agency managing multiple accounts and you have clients together spending more than 5K total per month, that minimum drops to 2K. And then you can see on from there how that client minimum changes the more clients you bring on board. So we really want to work with you to help you grow within your client base and really help you find a solution that's going to work for each of your clients' individual needs, no matter where they are, no matter what vertical they're in. Great. So that is the end of the slides we have to share today. I know we had a number of questions and answers, so I wanted to make sure we leave time for that now. So I know there was a question about user growth from Reggie, so thanks for that question. I mentioned at the beginning of the slide of the presentation that our user growth has really been explosive, growing on a month-over-month basis. Really ever since and before Waze was acquired by Google in 2013. We've reached over 80 million active users globally, and 22 million of those are here in the US. So we're one of the fastest growing apps right now. I don't have that data specific to Google Maps or Apple, but it's something that I can look into after the call. Now, a few people who are joining the webinar today submitted questions before we started in our pre-webinar survey. So I'm just going to go through those and answer some of those right now, and feel free to keep adding questions to the live stream. I know one person who joined asked how pricing works. So I wanted to highlight this, and this too might cover your question, Bianca, just about driver safety. Our pricing is on a CPM model, which means cost per 1,000 impressions. So we're charging when people see the ad, not when they're clicking on or engaging with it. So our different ad formats, the branded pin and the zero speed takeover, have different CPMs. Speaking for our mid-market tier here, when I say that the branded pin is a CPM of $1 and the zero speed takeover is a CPM of $20. And you can work to combine your pins and your takeovers to set a monthly budget that makes sense for your client based on where they are and how many locations they have. And our team can work with you on that to see what kind of budget makes sense depending on what share of voice you want to capture. Another user asked how many locations you can advertise at a time. So the answer is as many as you like. Most clients will have, especially at the mid-market tier, all of their locations in a campaign. But some brands will want to highlight specific locations. Maybe it's new store openings that they want to drive attention to that people in the local community aren't aware of yet. Some will want to advertise locations in a focus region or focus state, or even in the summer, locations that are in kind of vacation destinations. You can really include as many or as few locations as you like. I mean, your impressions are spread across those locations over the course of your campaign. I see a question from Daniel about keywords. Search actually isn't something that we charge for on Waze. It's a value add for our advertisers who are on the map with pins and takeovers. And the way that search works in terms of promotion and branded search is by category or by brand name rather than by keywords at the mid-market level. The reason being as well is that the typical driver behavior on Waze for search is to actually search by brand. 80% of searches they already know where the destination is, so they're searching by that address or by that brand. 20% by category. So search for discovery using things like keywords is not as common of a behavior, and why we don't charge for search as well. Hopefully that answered your question, Daniel. We had someone else ask before the webinar about some of the most creative ways to use Waze, no pun intended there. I know I covered a lot of verticals on this call, but recently I've seen a lot of innovative uses of Waze with specifically the real estate and healthcare verticals. So brands advertising different communities, real estate communities that they're trying to draw attention to or drive awareness of, and urgent care centers promoting their locations on the map just so that they're top of mind, so that when the Wazer does have that moment of need, they know where to navigate. Great. Finally, I just wanted to answer one question that came in before the webinar, was just asking about integration with other Google products, since we are owned by Waze. Waze is our own dashboard. We are our own platform. And as an agency, you'll get your own login to manage Waze specifically, not integrated with the other platforms. I don't think we have any other questions coming through on the live stream. So I just wanted to remind everyone that after the call, you'll be receiving an email survey. Please take the time. It should only take you 1 minute to fill out the survey. We'd love to know what you thought, if we can cover anything else next time. This is definitely something that we'll be hosting again. Also, if any questions come up after the call, feel free to ask them in the survey, and we'll be sure that you're followed up with. And I just want to say thanks to everyone for joining today, taking the time out of your busy Thursday afternoons to listen in. We hope you found it useful, and we hope to be in touch. We'd love to talk to you, any of you, in the weeks coming, and share more insights and talk about how this can work for your clients. So thanks again. Have a great rest of your day, and hopefully we'll speak soon. Thanks so much.